What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're gonna go over some of your guys' comments. A quick reminder before we get started, follow my gear sale page on Instagram. If you guys are looking to pick up any of the gear that I have for sale, a lot of people always ask me, what happens to the amps once I am done with them? Do I keep every amp that I play? Do I keep every pedal? No, I don't keep the stuff that I purchase specifically for the channel and don't intend to hang on to. I buy it when I find something for a good price. I sell it off. I use that money to pick up the next item here for the channel. So I went ahead and created a dedicated Instagram page where I have all the gear that I have for sale listed at all times. And as things sell, I remove them from the Instagram page. As things are added, I add them to the Instagram page. So do me a big favor, go down and follow Belligerent Gear Sales on Instagram if you're on Instagram. If you guys are interested in purchasing any of the stuff that comes up here on the channel, that stuff really helps me when you guys buy the stuff that I have for sale because it frees up money for me to invest in some of the other stuff that you guys want to see on here, like the Orange Super Crush. If you guys buy a couple items off that Belligerent Amateur Gear Sale page, then I'm just gonna go ahead and sink my own money into a new Orange Super Crush 100 head because you guys ask me about that thing constantly. I really wanna get it on here, but I would like to move some other items that I have here first in order to make that happen for you guys. Another way to help the channel is to purchase my Kemper profile packs. If you're a Kemper guy, I have a huge variety pack that I have put together featuring, I don't know, probably 12 different amps at this point. We've got the 5150 Iconic, the 5150 EL34 Stealth, the Engel Savage, the Dietzel Herbert, I think, the JVM 410H. I've got like 12 different amps in there, a total of like 30 some profiles. That's gonna run you 15 bucks. Or I have my dedicated amp profiles for the SLO 30, for the Barton Transmission 50, and I just added a new pack for the Marshall JVM 410H, and there is something like 24, 23 profiles on that. Whole bunch of different boosts and a whole bunch of different settings for different styles of playing. I listen to some of you guys and I tend to dial my Kemper profiles in like I like things to sound, but I have started adding some stuff in for the lower tune guys too, stuff with a little bit more gain, stuff with a little less gain. So hoping you like that stuff, but if you want to purchase any of my Kemper profiles, shoot me an email. I'll put the email down below. Everything is direct purchase. We're doing it real low key to start until things really start get rolling. Once I have a large number of items that I can put up, I will open up a store where you guys can go and basically buy any of the profiles at any time. But for now, we're just doing little private, little personal sales. And if you not only want to get yourself some awesome Kemper profiles, but you want to help this channel, you want to help my channel grow, give me a little bit more income to invest in more stuff for the channel, that is another awesome way to do it. So with all that shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's get to your comments. Comparing a 50 watt to a 100 watt, it will never sound the same. Wow, I never would have guessed that. Thanks. No more 50 or 100 watt and no more Amelia. He stated it will be a while before any more even if he ever does those again. That was really tough to read. But this is in reference to the video that I posted yesterday. This would be the Jet City 50 versus the Soldano SLO 100. I compared my SLO modded Jet City 50 with the depth mod to a newer boutique amp distribution SLO 100, and it was surprisingly close. There are definitely some noticeable differences, but overall, if you were to record them, if you wanted that SLO style tone for, you know, whatever you're recording at the moment, or you just want that tone in your arsenal, the Jet City JCA 50H with the simple SLO mod is a great way to do it, because I think I proved that you can get those amps sounding extremely similar if you've got a good tech like Mike Wagner at Wagner Amp Repair that can hook up those mods for you at a reasonable cost. Now, all in all, in that Jet City amp, I think I had 100 bucks into the mods and $150 into the amp. So 250 bucks, obviously I got a great deal on it, but on average, you know, maybe $500 to $600 between the amp and the mods, and you have, you know, very close to a $4,000 tone or amp at your disposal. The Jet Cities are also extremely reliable, so it's not like a lot of Chinese amps where you get terrible components and terrible soldering jobs. The Jet Cities have always been regarded as well put together, reliable amps made with quality components. Even though they were made overseas, the people who were involved in it made sure that they were done right. So anyways, this comment is in reference to, I mentioned that I thought that maybe they were still doing the Amelia 50 watt amp. along with all of the 20-watt custom amps that Jet City Custom is offering. But I think they are just focusing on the 20-watt amps for now. Doug is just doing the 20-watt, SLO style or the regular Jet City amps. And then he also just released a new JCM 800 style amplifier, and you can go to the Jet City Custom website and you can get those modded with a whole bunch of different selection of modifications that they offer on the website, which I think is a really cool service because you get a fully customizable amp in the way that you want it to look and the way that you want it to sound, depending on what mods that you have Doug install for you. So I'm gonna put the link to Jet City down below, but it sounds like he's not doing any of the big boy amps for a while, which to me is a bummer because those are really the only ones I'm interested in. I have no interest in 20-watt amps. I need amps that are going to be loud enough to hang in a band setting, and those 20 watts, they get close, but they just run out of headroom. And I've gone on and on about how I don't like EL84 power amps in loud situations because the tubes compress early and they run out of headroom early. So I would much rather see a 20 or 25 watt amp from Jet City that utilizes two big bottle tubes and maybe just a slightly more robust power section, or just a 50 watt amp. But it sounds like Doug is not really interested in doing those for now, so I will just continue to browse the used market for all of my Jet City needs, and you can do the same, or you can purchase one of the awesome new little 20 watt bangers with any of the mods and the visual customizations you want on it. Bro, when we gonna see the Stealth versus Iconic? Would like to see it to death. I would like to see it until my eyes die. That's a hell of a thing. So yes, the Iconic versus the Stealth. I took a little break from the Iconic content for a while because it seems like people got overloaded just in general. I mean, the whole guitar community was basically in a rage, either on the positive or on the negative side of the Iconic when it came out, and that seemed to last a couple of months. And now that that has all died down, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start revisiting the Iconic. Number one, because I am just, I'm in love with 5150 amps all over again. I just got a 6534 Plus, and I finally got the 6L600 watt Stealth model. I have been after this amp for years and years. Huge shout out to the homie Chris Reardon, AKA Amp Guru. If you really want some awesome Kemper profiles, that dude has a whole bunch of stuff. I'll link to him down below in the description as well, but he shot me the for sale link on Guitar Center's website. He actually called about the amp. They told him that it was a legit Stealth because you know how Guitar Center has kind of a problem with actually describing things correctly or putting the correct item model in the description. I think anybody who has ordered from Guitar Center multiple times has probably been burned by that at one point or another. But anyways, he called, he confirmed that it was the 6L6 Stealth model, and he shot me the link and he said, here you go, man. I know you've been looking for one of these. Now's your chance. And even though it was a little pricier than I wanted to pay, I figured, you know what? It's time. I want this amp. I get deals on everything else that I buy. It's time to just, actually pay something what something is worth for once. So I went ahead and bought it at that price, and man, I'm not disappointed. I am getting way off track here. The whole reason that I told you that story is because the 5150 Iconic, I can now shoot out the 5150 Iconic with any other full-size 50 or 100 watt 5150/6505 series amp that you guys desired, because I now own all of them. Scratch that. I don't have the regular 100 watt 6L6 anymore. I just recently sold that. I'm gonna have to find another one of those, but those are much easier to come by at a decent price. So at this moment, that is the only one I'm missing. I can shoot the Iconic out. I still want to do my idea where I shoot the Iconic out, or not even shoot it out, but I record 4 different clips of 4 different 5150 style amps, and I make the viewer tell me which one is the Iconic, because all of the controversy, all of the uproar surrounding the 5150 Iconic was it sounds solid state. Like, everybody says it sounds solid state because it has solid state componentry in the preamp section. Well, I'm gonna put that to the test. Can you really tell me it sounds solid state when I record it against 4 other 5150s? And you guys, if you're able to pick it out, then hey, bravo. Now the 5150 Iconic does have a little bit different sound signature compared to most of the others. It doesn't quite have the same honky mid structure, that Cocteau mid structure that everybody always talks about on the 5150. And I'm kind of just giving it away right now, how it'll be easy for you guys to tell in that shootout. But I still think that a lot of people are gonna have a hard time telling me which amp is which. So I look forward to doing that video. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think I'm actually gonna jump on that soon because that's one of the few videos that I am able to do when my girlfriend is home, because I can just go right into my awesome little 2 Notes capture and record those things direct, put the same impulse response on every single one, and then it's gonna be really hard for you guys to tell because everything is going to be exactly the same except for the amp on all 4 of the clips. So I really look forward to doing that. I'm gonna bring back the iconic here and there as far as the content goes, and hopefully soon I'll be able to bring in a 6505 original and a 6505 2, because it's about time for those things to start hitting shelves. I know that they were projected to ship in July the last time I spoke with some people, and it's July. So we'll see what happens there, but once those ship, I'm gonna see what I can do about getting some here on the channel, because, you know, I've pretty much become known as the 5150 guy on YouTube, and I'm not mad about that. But anyways, yeah, you guys are definitely gonna see more of the iconic coming soon. You're gonna see some more 5150 content in general coming soon, because I have a lot of cool amps to show you. Will they ever make an amp that doesn't need an overdrive pedal? You know, I think they have made plenty of amps that don't need an overdrive pedal, and how many times do we have to talk about that being a subjective thing? Each individual person is going to decide which overdrive pedal an amp needs, or if it even needs one at all, or if they just straight up hate overdrives. And nobody is wrong in that argument, because it all comes down to personal preference. But with that being said, I prefer amps that do need an overdrive out front, because that just gives me another way to shape my tone going into the amp. It gives me more control over my sound, because if I'm plugging straight into an amp and I'm not modulating it at all with an overdrive or an EQ out front, then that is just one less thing that I can do to shape the amp the way that I want to. So that's one reason why I don't bond as much with solid state amps, is a lot of solid state amps are already tight enough, and on top of that, they don't react super well to having an overdrive in front. They tend to get noisy, give some really unwanted feedback and stuff like that. So there have also been a couple of other tube amps that I've noticed that just don't react very well with an overdrive out front, and I tend to just not gel with those amps, because it's like, if it's tight enough without an overdrive, to the point where an overdrive is actually detrimental to the tone, then I kind of end up finding that the tone just doesn't usually sit with me, because it's a little bit thin overall. I kind of like taking a fatter amp and tightening it up just right with the right overdrive, the right pickup, and the right speaker / cabinet combination, versus having an amp that's tight enough out of the box where I don't have to do that. It just kind of, I'm able to shape the tone a little bit more to my liking. So, you know, age-old argument, I've already touched on that more times than I can count on this channel, and I feel like I'm consistently beating a dead horse. But if you're a new viewer here and you feel the amp should not have to have an overdrive out front in order to sound good, let me know down in the comments. And is there a price point that there should be where you shouldn't have to do anything to an amp in order for it to basically like meet its value? A lot of people think that really expensive amps shouldn't need an overdrive out front, because you're paying $3,500, $4,000 for an amp. You shouldn't need to do anything to it. I see that argument all the time too. So if you're on either side of that fence, let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think. I buy one of these amplifier and break in 2 months. Total Chinese junk. Do not listen to this guy. He's a scammer. I am scammer. Hey Kyle, you may have been asked this before, but would you be willing to make a belligerent amateur Discord server if one doesn't already exist? Hey Kevin, thank you for that question. There is a belligerent amateur Discord server, but I gotta come clean with you guys. I have kind of not been in touch with it very well, and I want to apologize to the people who did jump in, who adapted or adopted the belligerent amateur Discord server early on. I can only handle so much social media. You may notice there are times when I'm really responsive in the comments. I'm really responsive to if you're, you know, on my Instagram or Facebook, I'm very responsive to that stuff. And there are times when I'm not, and that's just because I am not the most social person in the world, believe it or not. I know I come across on these videos as super friendly and social, but I go like this in waves where there are times when I'm just really feeling like I want to be connected with people, and then there are times where I just don't. I just kind of get overwhelmed by social media. Not to sound like I'm cool guying you guys, but sometimes I get overwhelmed by the amount of messages that people send me, asking me questions about gear and stuff like that, asking me to check out their bands and all sorts of other stuff. And let me be 100% clear with you guys. I love that that is a thing. I love that you guys are reaching out to me in order to ask me questions, in order to ask me opinion, or even just to say nice things. I get so many people who reach out just to tell me they love what I'm doing with the channel, and you guys, honestly, you have no idea what that means to me, to know that I'm connecting with people in a way that is bringing positivity into their life in any way, shape, or form. That is huge to me. That means so much to me, and I genuinely appreciate it. But I actually kind of get to the point where I almost feel guilty, because there are times when I go into my message requests on Instagram or Facebook and I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I just haven't even responded to. And I kind of just leave it, knowing that I'll get to that point where I'm feeling social, I'm feeling like I want to reach out and answer questions and be personable with people. And I'll kind of go through and hit that backlog and just reply to a whole bunch of messages and stuff. So hopefully you guys aren't asking me anything that you're depending on an urgent answer for. But I just wanted to be 100% honest with you guys. I'm a human being, man. I go through fluctuations. I go through periods of motivation and completely not being motivated whatsoever. Like, there are days when I'm just like, am I doing the right thing here? Should I go find a real job again? Because like, I feel like I'm failing at this YouTube thing, and I definitely get imposter syndrome. I know Fluff made a video about that not that long ago, and I seriously relate to that so much. Like, who am I? Why should I be in this position? What have I done? Like, my work is not good enough to be where I am, that I can do YouTube stuff for a living. Like, I get those thoughts on a daily basis, and sometimes they creep in to the point where I really start thinking like, maybe I should go look for a job. Maybe I should start figuring out a different career path from here. But honestly, it doesn't take much to turn that around. I'll read a couple awesome comments from you guys, or I will read some messages on Facebook that are backlog things where people are just, like I said, saying nice things to me. Companies reach out to me and they tell me they like my work and they want to work with me. Stuff like that makes all the difference in the world. And like I said, I just gotta ebb and flow with things as they come. Sometimes I'm really into being social, sometimes I'm not. But the reason that I bring that up is the Discord server was growing, it was active, there were people in there, and I feel like a lot of people were kind of trying to talk to me directly, and I just wasn't very good at getting back to stuff, and it kind of died. And I feel really bad, I feel guilty about that. But I also don't want to be in a position where I feel like I'm tied to responding to people, like where I have to respond to people, because then it kind of feels like it's a chore sometimes when you're not in the mood and you feel an obligation to do so. And I just don't want to feel like that. So I can continue to push the Discord server if it's something that you guys want, and it's something that I genuinely do want to be a part of. I want to grow it, and I want to grow a community around this channel. Like I said, I feel like that has been done. We've got over 1,000 people in the Home for Belligerent Amateur Musicians Facebook group, which I love because people are constantly talking about gear in there, and that makes me really happy. And we've kind of maintained really positive attitude in that group. Whereas, you know, a lot of those gear groups, they can kind of go off the rails and people can be just really terrible to each other. And that is one thing that I absolutely won't allow in the Home for Belligerent Amateur Musicians. Is I'm a snarky dude, I'm a smart ass, and I like to joke around and sometimes poke fun at things. But what I don't like is people being super opinionated and just crapping on other people's opinions, crapping on other things that people like. And I see that a lot in the other gear groups. And you know, one of the gear groups is moderated by a dude who has no position being a moderator whatsoever, which is why I've kind of backed away from you know, some of those Facebook groups. But anyways, what I'm getting at is building a community around this channel is something that I still want to do. It's something that I feel like has been accomplished, but there's no reason to not continue growing it, especially in the way that I want to grow it, which is just a positive community where people are just good to each other and can provide awesome information and an awesome place to connect with people over gear. So that is kind of, you know, I've kind of pushed the Facebook group more than the Discord server because the Facebook group is just a little bit more my speed. I can reply in there more easily and I can monitor it more easily, whereas Discord, I'm not really on Discord very often. But if that's something that you guys really think that I should push, if it's something that you guys would like to grow around the channel as well, let me know down in the comments and I will start putting a little bit more effort into growing that, because I'm certainly not against it. There are a lot of good people who are hanging out in there before. It's still active from time to time, and if it's something that we want to continue to push forward, then you guys let me know and I will do so. All right, guys, that is gonna be it for me today on viewers' comments. Thank you so much for all the comments that you guys leave on these videos, because that is what makes these videos possible. I see all sorts of stuff that I want to reply to, and it just makes these episodes super easy and super fun for me to kind of go down there and interact with you guys. Try to be a little bit goofy, poke fun at the trolls and the people who can't put words together to form proper sentences. That's a good time for me, at least, especially if you follow me on Facebook. But anyways, as always, guys, keep leaving those comments on those videos and I'll keep trying my best to respond to as many of them as I can. If you would like to support the channel, everything that I said in the beginning of the video still applies 20 minutes later, as well as my Sweetwater affiliate link, my Eargasm affiliate links, my DistroKid affiliate links, all those things. You clicking on any of those helps the channel more than you know, so consider going down, checking some of that stuff out. Or you can add your name to this list of fine people by joining my Patreon community and supporting the channel that way. I'll love you forever, whether you want me to or not. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. If you're not already subscribed, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my future belligerent uploads. Kyle here again. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time. You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.